Welcome. You know what? I'm just going to say Ottawa people this show, or I'll say Canadian, because maybe there's Atletico Ottawa fans all over the country, and maybe in Europe, in Madrid, actually. So what I said to start makes no sense. Welcome to our first ever Atletico Ottawa kind of recap seasony show, and we actually have a surprise at the end of this show as well. We're doing a Atletico Ottawa giveaway. We're giving away something sneaky, and we'll let you know at some point during the show that anyone watching this or listening to this can win. And it's a prize worth
Yeah.
a decent amount of money. So,
Mhm.
anyway, with that said, we'll jump into it. Stephen, Atletico Ottawa, after 7 games, have 2 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. Is that where kind of you expected them to be,
No,
or?
no. I expected them to be in the running to win it.
Yeah. And I think why we think that, I mean, when the bubble was announced, they had been training for like a month
Exactly.
in
In Madrid.
Spain. And I think a couple other teams couldn't leave their house until like 5 days before the first game. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So you're right. I was about to say it's kind of okay, but after saying that and saying it out loud, it might not be okay.
Yeah, I don't know what their expectations were. I expected with that much training time, with the solidity of the club, with Atletico and their budget, that uh, they had the players for a while. I expected better. Did I expect them to be first? Probably. If they weren't first, I wouldn't have been disappointed. But 2-4-1, no, I expected better than that.
Yeah. And there's a couple players that I was excited to see. And there's that Bernardino, I think I probably butchered that, but he was like on the roster for a year, and we kind of never got to see him because of, I think they said it was a personal issue. So I'm not even going to speculate because I don't want to be disrespectful
Yeah.
to him, but that sucks that we could never really see him. And then
Yep.
there was the other one of Webb. He came back from, I don't remember, was it Cambodia, Singapore, something like that, where he played, and he came back. He was a winger,
Yeah.
and he was, I mean, the articles and the press we were hearing, this guy was some sort of star, but then right before the bubble, it's like mutual termination.
Yeah. So like, I'm assuming in a league at this level, there's a lot more of that than maybe at higher levels where things kind of don't work out and pan out and all that stuff. And with COVID,
Yeah.
but I still think if you look at the basis of what they've got there, and the talent at their disposal, that they should be better.
Yeah.
And you can always say on paper this and on paper that, but on paper, I feel like they're a better squad than others.
Yeah, and I think losing Webb and losing Bernardino, again, sorry if I'm butchering the name, but that's two wingers, and then Ryan Telfer is like their star left winger.
Hmm.
I think everybody, I mean, the staff knew they must have known he was going to be away at the Gold Cup, so he hasn't played,
Yeah.
or he's played one game and now he's been gone for a while, and that leaves you pretty short. Now people are playing out of position. Now you're stretching everything thin, and like Drew Becky said, and I'll throw this to you, they will be playing, I think, their eighth game in a couple days, eighth game in 26 days. Is that realistic for any squad to really show what they have, or is that just too many games? And I know it's a COVID thing, but that's a lot
I
of games.
it no, it goes along with what we said about the Premier League all year, and everybody trying to smash things or scrunch things together. And even the Olympics, like I know the Olympics, it's always kind of been that way, but before they were only allowed to take 18, and like it's like it starts to feel like I'm putting a way too like human right issue, like it's not, but
Yeah.
like you can't expect these guys to perform at a high level. I like what Drew said about less games equals better quality. I thought that was a really, Drew, I love you, but that might be the smartest thing you've ever said. Like that was such a really poignant quote to me, and good on him for saying it. Do I understand it from a business side and from a league perspective, trying to get these things going and generate interest? 100%. It's a bit much. But
Yeah.
having said that, it can also be an excuse for Atletico Ottawa and Valor. They're all in the same boat.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. And I want to talk quickly about Drew. I will stay on Drew. He's a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show. And he started the first couple games at center back, and we know he can always do a job there. And uh, John was left out of the team, who's, another Canadian center back. And young, Ferdinand on loan from CF Montreal was playing right back. Did well at the early stages, but now we've moved Drew back to right back and brought in John and Kapoor as the two center backs, which I think really strengthens the back four well. And I know Drew mentioned in training camp he was playing right back. What do you think of Drew at right back? I mean, he can play anywhere, right?
Yeah, I like him. I think he whips in a good ball. I'm way too biased to give an unbiased opinion on him. I coached him, and he's so reliable that I want him at center back in my spine, and just to be the captain and to lead from there. Do I think it's a bad decision to move him to right back? Not at all. I think he can do well. I think he's fit. I think he can get up and down there and provide some attack for them from right back. So I wouldn't critique it. I just am way too attached where I would leave him there. I kind of I was talking to a guy named Richard Bullen, who's a fan of the show and a soccer guy. And the two of us kind of like that he gets in there. He's mucky, he's like a 70s defender who just he's not afraid to throw himself in front of a ball. Or I could see him doing who was it, the John Terry where he dove head first at a shot. Drew will do those things for you. And you know what? I like that, because he cares so much. So anyways, that's a long-winded way to say I don't mind it, but I would have kept him center back.
Yeah, I guess that's it. It's like, here's a nerdy, when you're playing Championship Manager and you have an amazing player, but you move him just to right wing to accommodate someone else, and his little circle icon goes orange. You're playing him out of, and it makes you so angry. You're like, and that's what I feel like Drew right now. Like he's an 8 on 10 at right back, but like a 10 on 10 at center back. You want to maximize your best players in their best positions. Yeah. But I understand what Atletico's doing. Neufville, I'm so bad with names. He lost his form at left back, so they've moved Acosta over to left back, and it's a bit of a chop and change, and understandably, because these squads aren't big enough. They're not big enough. And I'll bring this up to you. I don't know. Again, I'm not a CPL entrenched person to this degree, but there's obviously a salary cap. There's no published numbers. Do Atletico Ottawa have room to bring someone in, or we don't kind of know anything.
No, I know. It's not like I'm reading all about Seattle Kraken, and I'm like a friggin' salary cap wizard based on my calculations to see where they'll be. And I'm like, well, you got to pick someone to get at least to the floor of the cap. Like my son and I are arguing, and it's fun as a fan. I wish there was some of that for CPL. I want to know, and in some cases, I'm sure it'll make you say, oh, I get why they're doing that. As opposed to why'd that happen? And then you're left scratching your head thinking it's maybe Mickey Mouse when it's not, or whatever. So I would like to know it, or at least some detail. If they want to go to every single thing, just some, or give me something.
Yeah, there needs to be more transparency, because like you said, these Atletico Ottawa fans in Ottawa are brilliant. They're awesome. They're into it. And think about having a drink with somebody, like Aaron Hooper on the side. If we knew these numbers, we'd be like, well, we can move him to him and here, and it engages people more. Yeah. And now we're just kind of like, I don't know, can they sign someone? For me, I'll throw this to you. Why isn't Ben Fisk there? Why is he not back?
I'm so glad you said it. I actually was going to ask it earlier and I forgot. I don't get that. And I don't get why he's not signed anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Maybe we need to get him back on one of these shows and ask him what's going on.
But quality player who, obviously something went wrong in contract negotiations, renegotiations. So surprised he didn't sign for a Pacific or somewhere else, overseas, something there's a guy. Could he help them? Yeah, he for sure can. So why isn't he there? It's weird.
Yeah. No, I know. I think they're doing all right at the back. I mean, they had that one game against Cavalry where they conceded 4, but beyond that, they're hanging in there. They're conceding 1 here. But I looked at their stats before this. They have nobody on 2 goals. So their leading scorer is about 4 or 5 players with 1 goal. That's where I think you as a coach would know better than anyone when we were building Fury. It's like, if you don't have a Carlo Basso that's going to score goals, or a Haworth, sorry, Carl, just fire me. But you need a goal scorer. End of story.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at any level, and obviously we know this in any sport. And Antoine Couplin's now tied there, and he's played 68 minutes, and he's already tied for leading scorer. I mean, again, I'm a homer, and I want to see my locals, and I I will accept not seeing my locals if what I see before me is that much better.
Yeah.
Or if they're performing. So to me, and he's been starting to get it, so credit to them, give him more chances. Like he's been with Fury and this for such a long time now. Let's see him. Like show me, like let me see him. Give him a chance. And if he's not good enough, get rid of him. But maybe he is. He's done
And
well.
that's a bit of a problem I find it with the CPL having these mandatory U21 minutes. I wonder, and it kind of bothers me, and again, pure speculation, but I wonder, do they hang on to these young kids just to get these minutes, and maybe they're not, the care factor around them is not as much as it should be, because they're like, well, we can't get rid of Coupland because we could throw them on whenever we need these minutes bumped up, or I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but I
get what you're saying.
Cynical.
Yeah, your cynical mind is saying, like, is the coach just using him to meet a mandatory clause? And I guess the flip side to that argument is, even if he is,
he does get minutes.
He's got a chance to prove in those minutes.
Yeah, good.
So
point.
let's just go with your cynicalness. Let's say the coach actually hates Antoine Coupland. I'm not saying he does, but let's say he thinks he's a disaster. He doesn't want anything to do with him. Well, he's already tied for the leading goal scorer now, and he's played 60 minutes. Any coach in the world is going to say, if the guy's putting the ball in the net or creating chances. And didn't he set up one? Like, am I wrong? Am I mistaken? Did I read? Anyways, I know he had another good appearance when he came off the bench. I didn't see it. I read it for the last one. So, maybe the rules there and it's serving its purpose. I find that a total catch-22. I'm not sure what I feel about that rule. Like, I like it. I like the thinking behind it. And part of me doesn't like it. I don't like some of those mandatory things, but I don't know. I just want to see more guys like that. I want to see guys that, like, I care a little bit more about.
Yeah. And that's where the homerness of us come in, where it's like, I want to see Eddie Edward, Kenny Caceres.
Yeah.
I want to see like the Fury had that one time, like where all these Ottawa connections were there. And I think, I'm not going to name any names, but there is a very great soccer guy on Twitter that loves Ottawa local soccer. And he put out a thing on Twitter, which was interesting, and where his connection with Atletico, he's finding it difficult. I saw that. I think that might be the case with a lot of people, and that's partly COVID, probably.
Got to get for sure.
Yeah, it's partly everything.
How good of a facility Lansdowne is. It's such a benefit in the club's favor.
Yeah.
And like you said, going to meet up with the Aaron Hoopers who love it, and talking down there with them and seeing them and having a beer and going to a game and all that. That's where you're going to form your biggest connection. I don't want to put words in that person's mouth who left from Twitter, but I would say I struggle with it at times as well. My expectation is I'm going to see a lot of Canadians, a lot of connections. I know a lot more of the Drews and the Couplands, and less the guys I don't know. And I want to see exciting Atletico 19-year-olds playing this team, and even not succeed as much, but no, I'm looking at some of the future of the first team. I'd like to see those guys in there as opposed to someone who's 30.
Yeah, I think that's where when Soto, I don't know when he's going to get his clearance, or Sado, again, probably butchering his name, but it'd be nice for him to get some clearance, and seeing Nunez play a lot is kind of interesting. And that's what hooks you. And I hope we see more of that. And so with that said, I want to say the Canadian Championship has been announced. I don't know if you've seen those games.
No.
So that winner of these Canadian Championships gets a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League. And it's neat now that the CPL teams are in it. So Atletico Ottawa has been drawn against Valor in the first round.
Wow.
Which is neat because Rob Gale's a great friend of the show. And, that's a tough one for us. But the winner gets to the quarterfinal against Forge. So they avoid all the other MLS teams in the quarters. So this is a good draw for Atletico.
Very good draw. Like the semifinal realistic.
Yeah. And the semifinals, it would be against CF Montreal, assuming CF Montreal beats, I think they're playing Blainville.
Forge and Valor are not certain games winners anyways, but they're at least a team in their league that gives them a chance. So that's cool. I love that. I love that the CONCACAF Championship. I want to pump it more than it gets pumped and as we move forward.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that's kind of neat. I'm looking forward to that. And this is not Atletico Ottawa related, but I'm really excited, and I hope the Blainville game. Like, I want to see Blainville play,
Mhm.
and the League One winner Masters, which is kind of neat, and they're in it. So I love that the League One winner gets in, the PLSQ winner gets in, and I find that super fascinating. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I went to watch PLSQ with the OSU team the other day. I was very impressed actually at the level. I didn't go in with that expectation. Really, really impressed. Good soccer, good speed, good level.
Yeah.
Very much recommend people getting out to have a look at those games.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's something that we might chuck on YouTube as well. The PLSQ results, and I think OTFC, Gloucester Celtic, and St. Anthony's are all in the
Yeah.
men's draw for the Ontario Cup. I haven't looked yet at the women's draw, but we'll if there's any teams from Ottawa in there, which I'm sure there are, we'll also update that. So that's kind of neat. The last thing I want to bring up here is the CPL draft.
Yeah.
Atletico Ottawa are obviously a bit short at the back, and they drafted Malikos from Carleton. Like, where are these people? I know he didn't get signed, but I mean, I don't know what. I guess it's a hit and miss because I'm not going to pronounce his name, but the striker from Carleton signed with Halifax, and he starting
Yeah.
starting a lot of games, and that's pretty awesome. But
And what's his face at Valor? Tony McKell.
yeah, he's been playing quite a bit as well. Yeah, which is awesome. And I just going back to the whole connection thing, it would have been awesome to see Malikos here, a local kid
Yeah.
at center back, and doesn't have to play every game, but I mean, anyway, that's
No.
something that I would like to see.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. That kind of thing also helps me forge a connection and
Yeah.
actually have more interest to see how he does than a 28-year-old Spanish guy or a 30-year-old English guy. And I got
Yeah.
nothing against them. Like I say,
Yeah.
you have to sign those types of players. But if they're not performing, then I would love to see these people get a bit more of a chance, like they're starting to do with Coupland and I talked about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it with that. And the next game is tomorrow, the 21st of July against Pacific FC. And then they have a little break until August 2nd. So they get their break. So getting these 3 points is like that Pacific game is almost like a cup final. It's like, whether are you going to be involved in the top half, or are you just kind of flounder out the rest of the season? So tune in, One Soccer Pacific FC on the 21st. That's a
Big
massive,
game. That's
massive game.
And you got to think like these guys, to give them an excuse. They've been in training camp, which I can't call that an excuse. A month in Madrid to training camp. I think that's ideal preparation. But then they pretty much flew straight to the bubble. So they don't even have their stuff in Ottawa settled and all that. So maybe that'll make a difference. Maybe it'll be more of a difference to them than to others. And hopefully they can be settled, play some games at Lansdowne, and, we can get out, and that can help them with having some support, right?
Yeah. And like, tickets are open. We know when they're coming home. So go on the Atletico Ottawa website and get tickets. Fill the place up.
Yeah.
Like, if people are struggling to form a connection,
Go.
buy your tickets to the first game and try to find that connection, because it's our job to support local soccer, and it's their job to make it appealing to us. It's a 50-50 give and take. So let's all go. Bring your kids, bring everybody. I would have loved to have been a kid and had a team to support. We did for a little, but get your kids involved, man. Get your kids loving the team.
And I'm going to transition from that, Mark, that we can help you transition and to get into this by giving away something Atletico Ottawa that costs quite a lot of money that we think is too much, but we will give for free by giving you an Atletico Ottawa jersey.
Yeah, an official Atletico Ottawa jersey will be given to someone watching this show. All you have to do, Steve, is what? What are we going to do? We'll post it, but I think we're going to have to, you got to subscribe.
So watch this, subscribe on our YouTube station, comment below with your favorite Atletico Ottawa player. And I'm going to say bonus points if you can give like a Markism, something that he says that you like, or something that he says that you think stupid, because that'll make
that's more likely to get the comments flying than
but at least a comment and a subscription to YouTube for the snobs. And I'm not sure what day, so it's today the 20th. I posted latest 21st. let's say by Sunday, the 25th, I think it is. Let's say by the 25th, we'll pick a winner and see who we can get that jersey to.
Yeah. So comment below with your favorite player, and we'll, I guess we'll make it the fairest of the fair, and everyone who's puts their thing in will throw their name in a hat, and we'll pull it out, and that's the winner of the jersey. So, maybe we'll even film that. How about that? We'll do it live on a show.
Let's do a live draw. Yeah, let's do
and it's going to be 100 Mark LaPoints and like one other person. You know what? If I put my name in for it and I win, would people get upset? And if I won legitimately, would you be upset if you were a fan?
100%, because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true.
We're putting your name in it.
Yes, and if it does come out, I won't win it, but we'll just see if it does come out. Now I'm so excited.
Yeah. Actually, I am too, which is nerdy. Awesome.
That shows how much we have to do in our life. Anyway, so again, go to the website, buy tickets, and support this team. And after the season, if you don't like it, what can we do? But anyway, enjoy and good luck to Atletico Ottawa on the 21st. Beat Pacific.